Hi, and thank you for your help with the proctoring the PSAT 8-9 for ninth graders on Wednesday, October 10th. I just want to go over a few things so that you are ready for test day, so that way that morning you're not stressed. So first thing is, when you get to school, I'll probably be here by 7. When you get here, make sure you come to the College and Career Room, or A50, by 7:55 a.m. in order to get everything that you need. So you're going to pick up both a bin of materials, and I'm going to show you what would be in this, and then you'll also be getting these yellow calculators. Each of these containers has, 10 calculators in it. So it might be that you want to take them out and just put these in your bin. You'll count out how many you need. Or you could take several sets of these. You just want to make sure that everybody has enough to test with, so you don't want to take more than you need. So those will be here as well. A couple of the things that you're going to want to get on your own: make sure you have some tissues for students to use in your testing location, a timing device. You can use your phone or your smartwatch as long as you put it on airplane mode and silence it. You also want to make sure you have some tape, because there'll be some things in your bin that you'll want to be able to tape to your door. Go to your testing location, make sure that it doesn't have anything prohibited. The periodic table can remain visible, but everything else should be covered up. Once you get there, you're going to want to place this testing "Please do not disturb" sign on your door. That'll do two things: one, know that you're in there, and two, it'll also be an indicator to the hallway monitors that that's a room that they need to check on from time to time. Next thing that you're going to do is place one of these seat labels out for each student. Make sure that all students are facing the same direction, and that they are at least 4 feet apart from one another. You should not allow students to choose their own seats. This seat label is also going to have the information that they need for their answer sheet on it. After the students start getting there, you want to collect all their electronic devices. They should not access their phone, smartwatch, any of that stuff, even during a break. If you have a student who refuses to hand over their device, just call the safe room at 2517. Then you're going to want to take attendance on 2 separate rosters. One roster you're going to tape to your door, and we'll collect it for the attendance office. The other should keep with your records, and you'll put it back in the bin so that I'll know who tested with you and who didn't. After you've taken attendance, any other student who shows up, they should go to the room for late arrivals or new enrollees for ninth graders, and that's going to be proctored by Mr. Johnson in room 516. You can also call the safe room to get an escort for that student. Once everybody's seated and in there, then you want to go ahead and get started. So give students their answer sheets. They'll have a label on it with their name. So make sure that you give the right student the right answer sheet. Then you'll give them their test books. I don't have those in yet, so I can't show you an example. But on the back of the test book, there's a place for students to write their first and last names, the school code 181417. It's printed on the student seat label. It's also printed in your directions. And then our school name, Bryan Station High School. After that, they need to make sure on their answer sheet they fill in fields A, which is their form code, and B, which is their test ID. So they're taking information from the test book and put it on their student answer sheet. They should leave field C blank, as we do not have any room codes that we're assigning. And then field D is an optional code, and for most freshmen that's going to be 01, but you will have some students who are repeat freshmen, and so they're going to have a different code that's going to link their test data to their academy. So the student code, or optional code, is on their seat label, and they should be bubbling that in field D. One thing that's really important to notice is on these directions, you've got to double check that the students are filling all this stuff in. The last thing that they have to do on their answer sheet is write their name, the date, which will be October 10th, and sign the certification statement. Any of those things that are left blank when these materials are turned back into me will become your responsibility to find the student, have them complete it, or for you to bubble it in yourself. So it's really important that you check that the students have completed the back of their test book with their name, and then on their answer sheet, the certification statement, along with field A, field B, and field D. Also, you want to explain to students why they're taking the test. You can remind them that we're going to use this data to help put them in classes for next year, and it's a good practice for taking the PSAT National Merit Test, which can qualify them for scholarships if they take it as an 11th grader. Anytime you have problems, don't hesitate to call the safe room at 2517 or to call me in A50 at 2050. You should start the reading test by 9 a.m. Make sure you're giving kids time warnings. While they're working on that test, you can complete your seating chart, which looks like this. It's partially filled out already for you. You can also go ahead and collect anything that you might have given to the students. Like if you've got students who didn't show up, you can pick these up and throw away the extra ones because I don't need these back. Any extra test books or answer sheets you can put back into the bin. Make sure you're storing those. Go ahead and pass out your calculators. Just put them under the student's desk. Make sure you're actively supervising though and monitoring the students. If you need anything, like if you have a student who gets sick or you have a student who's disruptive, you can call the safe room. But if you need a break or you have a student who needs to go to the restroom, then you can tape this request for assistance sign to the door and somebody will come and help you. Make sure that it's a certified faculty member who's covering your class if it's you who needs to leave the room. After the reading test, the students will get a 5-minute break. You should start the next section, the writing and language test, at exactly 10 a.m. Make sure you're giving kids the time warnings then. Oh, and one more thing about the break. If kids are late from the break, do not wait on them to start the test. Go ahead and get started whether they're back or not. They're forfeiting their time if they ever take a break during a non-break time or after break time has expired. The third test they'll take is the math test without a calculator. You'll start that by 10:30, give them the time warnings. After that, students get another 5-minute break. And I'm reading all this from the directions, so if you're having trouble keeping up, don't worry, it's all on here. And then you'll start the final section, the math test, with a calculator by 10:55 a.m. Make sure you give the students the time warnings for that. After you finish this test and your time has expired, kids should be done testing around 11:40, 11:45. That'll give you plenty of time to get everything collected. Remember, when you take all their stuff up, take up their answer sheets first, double check that they've done fields A, B, and D, and they've completed the certification statement. You want to collect and alphabetize their answer sheets, then collect and alphabetize their test books, put all that stuff back in the bin, take their pencils back from them, as I'll need those for future tests, so please don't keep my pencils. Make sure that you have put this roster where you've taken attendance, right, your extra one, back into the bin along with your completed seating chart. Any extra test books, answer sheets, you should have already put those back in the bin, but make sure you've done that. Again, you can throw away any used signs like this. If they have tape on them, you can discard those. You can discard all of these seat labels. I don't need those back. Make sure that you've taken up all the calculators and stored those so that you can return them. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to look at the lunch schedule. 9th graders are split. Some 9th graders will take third lunch at 1:20 to 1:45. Some 9th graders will take fourth lunch 1:45 to 2:10. So make sure you look for your name so that you go to the right lunch so that we don't have an overcrowded lunch. So after you've collected all their materials, students can have their phones or their devices back. You will follow the lunch schedule. You'll be with your same group of students all day long. So if you have time before lunch, which you should, you can go ahead and take everything up. You can get a hall monitor to return your calculators and your materials to A50, or they can cover your class and you can bring stuff back to me. Make sure that the kids just don't go unsupervised. After lunch, they'll come back and they'll still be with you. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me, and I hope everybody has a great fall break. Thank you.